Hello, my name is Ryan Duquette and I am a Shoreland Permitting Specialist with the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. In this video, we'll offer you some tips on vegetation management for water quality. Let's get started. One of nature's most economical and efficient water purification systems is a good mix of native shoreland plants. In New Hampshire, specific species examples include oaks, pines, willows, and blueberry bushes. These and other native shoreland plants help remove or slow down the oils, salt, heavy metals, fertilizers, and other contaminants from stormwater runoff. In part because of their deeper root systems, native shoreland plants are much more effective at doing this than the shallower rooted plants of many lawns and mulch garden beds. Native shoreland plants also offer valuable shelter and food for native birds, fish, and insects. Because of these environmental and public health benefits, New Hampshire's Shoreland Water Quality Protection Act regulates removal of ground cover, shrubs, and trees within 150 feet of public waters. This includes an area known as the Waterfront Buffer and an area known as the Woodland Buffer. Let's take a look at each one. With few exceptions, in this area, ground cover and shrubs cannot be removed and replaced with landscaping or lawns. The main exception is a single 6-foot wide footpath to the water or to structures in the waterfront buffer, which may also require a shoreland permit. Ground cover and shrubs can be trimmed to no shorter than 3 feet. Trees can be pruned if their health is not compromised in the process. We recommend pruning only the bottom third to maintain your property aesthetics as well as your tree health. Before you remove a tree, please consider pruning it as an alternative option. This can increase your views while retaining your wildlife habitat, privacy, and shade. You can remove trees and saplings within the waterfront buffer if you maintain a minimum tree and sapling point score within each grid segment of your waterfront buffer. To measure and score your grid segments, start at the northern or eastern edge of your property boundary. Divide the waterfront buffer into grid segments 25 feet along shore by 50 feet inland. Within each grid segment, measure each trunk's diameter at breast height, meaning 4.5 feet above ground. If you do not have this type of measuring tape, measure the circumference and divide by pi. Point scores range from 0 for dead, diseased, or dying trees to 15 for trees larger than 12 inches in diameter. If after removal the sum of the tree and sapling point score within the affected grid segment would remain at least 25 points, you can remove trees or saplings from that segment. The easiest way to manage grid segments is to plant more native saplings. Once they are established and mature, and the segment's point score rises above 25 points, you can remove trees. Within the waterfront buffer, tree stump removal requires a permit and replacement with other pervious surfaces, new trees, or woody vegetation. State law requires that at least 25% of this area remain natural woodland, meaning that all existing native ground cover, shrubs, and trees are allowed to grow. You can choose which area or areas to designate as natural woodland. You do not have to choose one contiguous area. Many people choose the edges of their property, for example, and use the denser vegetation for added privacy. As you make this decision, please prioritize areas with the highest density of native trees, shrubs, and ground cover. Allow your native plants to grow without cutting, except as needed to maintain or improve your plant health. If you stay within the limits we have described in this video, you do not need a state shoreland permit to manage vegetation within the protected shoreland. You can also cut dead, diseased, or unsafe trees to ground level without a state permit. However, we do recommend you document your tree's condition at the time of removal, including clear photos and written confirmation from a horticultural professional describing its defect or condition. Before removing trees, please also check your local ordinances. They may add restrictions beyond those of the New Hampshire Shoreland Water Quality Protection Act. For most other excavation, fill, or construction projects within 250 feet of shore, you do need a shoreland permit. Common examples include removing stumps as well as constructing most walkways, patios, other structures, or grading. For any earthwork or construction of structures on the bank, in the water, or on the bed of a water body, you may require a wetland permit. Any areas cleared before July 1st, 2008 of ground cover, shrubs, or trees beyond today's limits can be maintained, but they cannot be enlarged. Common examples include lawns and mulched landscapes. Within 25 feet of the reference line of shore, fertilizers are prohibited. Between 25 and 250 feet, fertilizers must be slow or controlled release. Low phosphate, slow release nitrogen means guaranteed, as indicated on the package label, to contain at most 2% phosphorus and at least 50% slow release nitrogen components. Within 50 feet, please consult with a state licensed professional. For more details, please see our pesticide use within the Protected Shoreland fact sheet or reach out to the Department of Agriculture. Thanks for watching. We hope these tips help you manage your trees and shoreline vegetation successfully in your protected shoreland area.